Hey crochet friends, today we are going to be making a Junimo with Stardrop. These are two separate pieces, so if you want you could even have them separate, like you could just make yourself a Stardrop or just make yourself a Junimo. If you do make just the Junimo, you'll have to do like an extra little sprout for his head, but I think you could figure that out. This is a pretty easy tutorial. I can usually make these in about 2 hours. However, I would say it probably falls more intermediate than beginner, just because the little circle bit cut out for the Stardrop is a little bit tricky. You might be able to figure it out, kind of depends, you can give it a try. If nothing else though, you could do the Junimo. I believe in you there. This is all Bernat blanket and I'm working with a 5 to 6 millimeter hook. Use whatever your favorite is. I think I used a 6 for today. One last thing, this is inspired by this other tutorial that I found. I really wanted to make a Junimo with Stardrop, but I could only find one with a worsted weight yarn, which the dimensions just would not work with the blanket yarn, and that's my favorite to use. So this is my reimagining of this. So if you prefer worsted weight, go to this one, okay? I'll see ya. All right, so to start, we're gonna make 5 of these like little cone shapes. So I have 3 here. I am gonna start with a magic ring of 6, and I am using Bernat blanket in baby lilacs. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is a beginner-friendly pattern with an asterisk. I'm not going to show you how to do the magic ring. And there's a little bit of a tricky part in the middle. I think a beginner could figure it out. Kind of depends on where you're at in your journey. So maybe like a little bit of experience, but you don't necessarily have to be an expert. For round 2, we're going to do a single crochet and then an increase. We're building up to 9 stitches. So single, increase, and that should bring us to 9. Now for round number 3, we're just going to do single crochets all around for a total of 9 single crochets. So what? There we go. 1, 2. Now this is actually like a fairly quick workup. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Perfect. Okay, and then round 3, we're going to do 2 singles. 1, 2. Now I've been in a little bit of a crochet slump, and then an increase. So 2 singles and then an increase. So I haven't made one of these stardew Junimos and a Stardrop in a hot second. So yep, 2 singles and then an increase, and then we're just going to do a round of 11. 1, 2. And the nice thing about these is like each cone works up really fast, and since there's only like what 5 rounds or 5 rows, I feel like it's a good like mindless watch TV and do this task. So you can just crank out a whole bunch of these, honestly. And I like to sew them onto a Junimo, but you could just make it into like a Christmas tree ornament, or like, I don't know, something to hang in your car or on the mirror. Wouldn't that be cute? So we'll see in a minute. I'll show it to you what it looks like disconnected. So there is one there, and then we're just gonna finish it off. Couldn't tell you where, so we're just gonna use the Cricut scissors, and boom. Let's see if that looks the same. I thought those are the same. He feels chunkier. Does he look chunkier? Am I crazy? Oh no, actually it looks the same as that one. Okay, I realized the difference. I used a 5 millimeter hook to do this one and a 6 millimeter hook to do this one. So when they say hook size matters, they're totally right. But we're going to keep pushing forward because I cannot be bothered to fix that. So, you know, it's a small difference. It's fine. It's fine. So I'm going to make one more and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so we've reached the part where it gets complicated. You can either finish it off or not, up to you. What I like to do, I'm not going to finish it off. I'm just going to move this. And now the complicated part is that like whenever you join 2 things like this, like if you do legs for like a little creature, there's usually a gap-a-rooney in the middle. So we're not too worried if there is. We're just going to sew the holes if there are. Pretty normal for a crochet project. Pretty much anything you do where you put 2 pieces together, there's going to be a little gap. So each one of these has 12 stitches around the top, okay? We are going to connect 6 with a single crochet and then go into the next leg. So I'm just going to start because I think it'll make more sense, okay? So I'm going to just pick a spot, literally any spot, and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my gosh, I hope you can see that I wasn't paying attention. 6. I was so laser focused. Okay, now I've got 6. So we pick up another foot. These are star points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Get another one. Look at it. It's starting to be a little chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then on one of the sides, so I'll just show you on this one, you're going to have to pick up that extra string somewhere. 1, 2. This is just where you do your best. So I just go straight over it. 3, 4, 5. Doesn't have to be for a lot of stitches, just for a couple. 6. Okay. So we have actually just connected all of these together like this. Hopefully you could see literally any of that. Okay, so now we need to wrap back up to the front. So I'm going to go to that first stitch I started. I'm going to count back 6. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we are going to try to connect those together. Bloop. Okay, so now it's like, hopefully you're seeing the vision. Do you see the vision? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so now for each joint, it's going to be a decrease. This is where it gets a little complicated. It can get wonky. It really should be an even count every single time. Like it should be 1, 2, 3, 4 decrease, 1, 2, 3, 4 decrease, 1, 2, 3, 4 decrease. If you get off, it's okay. Just make sure the decrease is always in the joint, right? Don't put a decrease in the middle. Don't put a decrease, a little, make sure it's just in the joint. So we're going to do our decrease. And keep going. So ideally we'll have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But you know what? If it's not 4, that's okay. This feels like it's in the joint, so we're perfect. We're going to do a decrease. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put my stitch marker back in. That's okay. 4. Once we get back around, it'll be the same pattern, but it'll be 3 and then a decrease, okay? So I will see you back here when we get around. All right. The vision yet again. You could totally also do a Starmie from Pokemon. That'd be so cute. Oh my gosh, we might have to do that as a tutorial. All right, so now we're back at the beginning. So now it's going to be 3 and then a decrease, and this will be your last of this round, okay? Because you want the hole in the middle. 1, 2, 3. Then we should be at the junction. I think that's close enough for me. 1, 2, 3. Make sure we're at the pit or the junction or the crease, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to do the other ones and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so now we're going to finish it off. Literally, how cute can you, oh, well, it helps if I hold it in the video. It's going to look a little like poofed out and weird, and that's because we're going to stuff it. Okay, it's supposed to. And we need to leave a good sized tail because we're going to do some sewing later. Look at cute. And then this side looks a little crazy, but we're going to deal with that. So you can start pretty much anywhere. You're just going to pick a spot. And now, okay, actually when I say pick a spot, remember we're going to do that 6 pattern again, where it's like 6 and then connect them. We are going to kind of just pick a spot to go in. We're going to tie off that in just a second. And we're just going to start crocheting. Again, it should be approximately 6 per row. It kind of gets a little thrown off just because of these stitches in the middle. So 1, 2, 3. Throw on our stitch marker. And I am going to tie those 2 off so that they're connected inside. and it doesn't fall apart. I don't think I've ever had one fall apart, but I'm waiting for the day I forget to tie a string, you know? All right. That's not where that should be. Put it there. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Stitch marker. Okay. Okay, and then what I'm seeing, hopefully you can see it too, is we kind of have this scappy bit. 4. I'm just going to do a little like decrease into that, whatever is going on there. And into the other side of it. Then start up again. 1. I'm just going to pretend that was nothing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but then I don't want a gapperoonie, so we're just going to like turn it into a decrease and then pick up another single stitch out of that gap, decrease. Wow, this is going to make absolutely no sense. I feel like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 6. The way we're going to verbalize this is going to be 6 and then make it a decrease. And then 1, same thing. We're going to slide into that row on the other side. And that's our number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 6. And then again, this is part of the other side, but that's fine. We're just going to catch it. 1, same thing, catch. And then into the first stitch. Perfect, yay! All right, and then we do the same thing where we just do 1 more. I think it's 1 more, it might be 2 more. We're gonna make it even with the other side, the hole in the middle. So it should be easier now that that's connected. That is literally the hardest part. So 1, 2, 3, and then a decrease. And we are back on our perfect, beautiful pattern. 1, or we should be, let's see, 2, 3, oh, you know what, maybe we're not. 4. Nope, I was wrong. We are on 4 and then decrease, question mark. Decrease. Yep. All right, so 4 singles and then a decrease in the junction. We need 1 more. So that one was 5 singles and then a decrease. I think I might have said it wrong in the last clip, so I'll put on screen what it's supposed to be, but it's supposed to be 5 singles and then a decrease. Remember, honestly, what I say doesn't matter. Just do singles, and then when you get to a joint, decrease, okay? We're gonna do 4, 1, and then a decrease. And that'll be our last one. 2, 3, 4. I know the star is so stinking weird, but it's just, you know, we do the best we can with what we have. We do. Perfect. Yep. So 4, then a decrease. Okay, so now we're back around. So it should be just about the same as the other side. It's okay if it's not perfectly the same because we're going to sew them together. So we'll have a little bit of leeway. All right. So we have all those extra strings on the inside. Just shove them into their respective cones. Or you can cut them off if you want. I like to use them as a little bit of stuffing. So we should only have these long tails sticking out that are for sewing. Perfect. Look at that. Can you see your star drop coming together? All right, so we're going to stuff it lightly. All right, stuff it lightly. And we'll probably like probably stuff a little bit as we sew to make it easier. So I'm just going to put a little bit in there, and then as I sew, I'll probably add a little bit more. All right, I can't find my big favorite needle, so we're going to use this tiny little baby darning needle. I'm going to do my best just to kind of line the sides up We're just going to kind of, you know, sew them together. So bring it back this way. Push it through. Push it through. There's not like a right way to sew it, I guess. Just however you want. I usually, you know, pull it through and then just push the whole thread back. You know, I should have waited to stuff it. I feel like it's making it harder to see. Then I go on to the next stitch. Poke, poke, pull it through, drop it through the hole. Next stitch, poke, poke, pull it through, drop it through the hole. All right, let's do one more. Poke, poke. And then this cone is pretty much closed off. So I'm going to put the last of my stuffing in it since it's pretty much closed off. And I can do it from kind of the side. There's still like a little gap-a-rooney. Again, don't have to stub it. Don't have to stuff it very heavily. It can be a nice light stuff. Just something to give it a little bit of poof. So do that all the way around. Again, just stitch it through, drop it, stitch it through, drop it. You know what I mean? Okay, as we are going around, so you can see I've got my middle part all sewn up. If you had any spots where there was a bit of like a hole on the junctions, totally normal. You're just going to also use your thread to just reinforce that so it's not as noticeable. Try to catch it on both sides. I'm going to try to, oh yeah, no, I got it. I was going to say try to shove your finger in there, and if you can't get it in, you're good. I think all the others were okay. So I think I just had that one. So now I am going to join my two strings. However you guys like to finish stuff off, you go for it. I am like a tie all the strings together kind of girly. All right, so we're going to make these two join in the same little hole. We're going to tie them in a knot and then weave them in. Okay. Uh-oh. Wait, did I get them in the same hole? Yes. Excellent. Okay. Make sure the knot comes through. Yes. Okay. Shove it in. So however you like to do it, you go for it. You get rid of those strings. All right, now, I don't know why the lighting on the phone doesn't look quite right. Like, it looks totally normal in person, but then I feel like the shadows, like in person, I don't see all the shadows, but there are so many shadows on the phone. So it looks like this. It's got the nice little cutout in the middle. So now all we need to do is the leaf, and then we have a whole little Stardrop. It's going to be so cute. All right, so we're going to need some green. So we are going to make the leaf now. So I'm going to use Bernat Baby Blanket in classic green. This is not my preferred green, but with Joann's closing, it's harder for me to find yarn as easily, Bernat Blanket, and that's my favorite to use. So Struggle Bus, my absolute favorite to use for the Stardrop leaves is just the normal Bernat Blanket in Sage. I don't think they make it in Baby Blanket, but like for such a small piece, like it's fine if it's not as buttery soft. All right, so chain 7, then we're gonna turn it, and then the second from the hook, shift it down, second from the hook, half double. Oh, come on now, you pesky thing. Okay, single. I am the person that people make like crochet tutorial memes about, single. Where they're like, oh, you almost saw the stitch. Let me put my hand in the way. Let me rip it out of frame. Single. I am that person. And then 2 slip stitches. 1, 2. It's hard because like you literally can't watch it in the viewfinder because it's a little bit too small. And my eyes are not good enough for that. But then also it's like impossible to just hold your hands in frame for some reason. All right, so we have 2 leaves. Now we need to sew them on. Okay, so like I said, I accidentally did some of these in a 5mm hook and some in a 6mm hook. I feel like you really can't tell, but I'm pretty sure these are the 2 bigger ones. So I'm gonna have them be the bottom. So this is gonna be the top. For you, it shouldn't matter because you're not an absolute goober and you will use the correct hook. Just doesn't matter what size, just the same size for all 5. So we're going to try to center this on top and we're just going to sew them down. You guys know what a Stardrop looks like, you know, just try to sew them down so that they're somewhat like that. And bam. All right, so depending how you sew it down, and I like it to be a little bit flippy on the ends, So I just don't sew the very end so it flips out a little bit. So picked right off the tree. So now it needs a little Junimo to hold it. If you don't want to make the Junimo, you can literally leave it like this. Put it on your bed. It can be like a little throw pillow for your desk. It might be a little bit big to hang in a car window, but you could also stick it in a Christmas tree or something, whatever you want to do. But there is our Stardrop. All right, we're going to start on the Junimo body. So we're going to do a magic ring of 8. This will be a glorified circle. So 1, 2, there's 3, 4. This will be pretty standard circle building, I guess. We're just going to do a lot of increases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, shocker, we are with Burnout Baby Blanket again, this time in Misty Jungle Green. Misty Jungle Green. Super cute. You can make your Junimo in pretty much any color. The next round is going to be all increases, so we should be up to 16 stitches at the end, increase in every single one. You can use basically any color. I've done this, I've done like a sage green, I've done like a yellow color. I've done lots of colors. 2, 3, 4. Just pick out whatever your favorite or whatever you have on hand, you know. Junimos can be anything. 5. So I'm going to finish this and meet you back. All right, round 3 is going to be a single crochet and then an increase. Nice and simple, like I said, single crochet and then an increase. Now this part, the actual Junimo, is absolutely beginner friendly. This is going to be super, I don't know, a super good, easy, nice project if you are a beginner. 1, 2. All right, round number 4. We're going to do 2 singles and then an increase. So 1, 2, and then an increase. Now, I do promise I'm trying to get better at tutorials. I don't know what it is with tutorials in my brain. I think I'm such like an in-the-moment crocheter. Like if something's not working, I just make an alteration in that round in that moment. And that makes it really hard to actually make a tutorial, especially with like the Stardrop of this. Needs a little bit of leeway and flexibility. And it's kind of like cooking. You know, you're watching like a little TikTok short or whatever of someone cooking and they're going, measure with your heart. I understand how frustrating it is. I get it. And I do recognize I'm the worst. But it's where we're at. So, do my best with the tutorials. All right, last row in our circle building. And then we're going to go straight up a little bit. No, we're not. No, I remember now. Sorry. Like I said, it's been a few months. We're going to do a round of single crochets now. So single crochet around, however many stitches it is. So all single crochets. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, like I said, it's been about 3 months since I last made this pattern. And I don't totally remember how I did it. And I was going to look at like one of the other ones I made, but I've given them all away. So I can't really look at them because they're gone. But I'm certain there is a round of single crochets here. Okay, now we're doing the last row of circle building. So it's going to be 3 singles. 1, 2, 3, and then an increase. All right, we got our little Junimo butt all done. So we are going to single crochet straight up for 5 rounds. So you're going to go around for 5 rounds, just singles. This is going to be the longest part probably, but nice and easy that you can kind of just zone out, veg a little bit, watch your TV show, your YouTube video, whatever. And I will see you in 5 rounds from now, all single crochet. All right, so we have our 5 rows straight up, and now we're going to do a row of decreases. So we're going to do 3 single crochets. 1, maybe 2, 3, then a decrease. Go ahead and do that all the way around and I'll meet you back here. Okay, and this is an exact mirror of the other side. So now we're going to do a row of single crochets. So we're actually almost done already. So we're going to go around single crochets, which is another reason I really like this project. I feel like you can do it in under like 2 hours for sure, which in my opinion makes for a very nice little crochet project. So single crochet all the way around. All right, back to decreases. We're going to do 2 single crochets and then a decrease, and then we get to put our little face on. So 1 single crochet, 2, then a decrease. And you can see we're already kind of taking our little Stardew Junimo shape. Ah, so cute. All right, so 2, decrease. I have 2 12-meter safety eyes here. If you prefer embroidery eyes, you go ahead and embroider. If you prefer a larger eye, go ahead and do a larger eye. I kind of just eyeball them for somewhere around the middle. Oh, probably somewhere around there. Might be a little too far apart. Come a little bit closer. And he's going to be holding that. That feels pretty good. And then I just kind of try my best to make sure they're on the same line. Oh, I think so. Eyeball it however you like. If you like them a little closer, do them a little closer. If you like them a little farther, do them a little farther. There is no right and wrong. This is inspired by a Junimo. It's not exactly a Stardrop Junimo. You know what? I think I got the Stardrop pretty close. You know what? I'll say it. All right, and then I do a little blush, but I do not do a little mouth. You, of course, do whatever you want. Okay, let's see if we can do something somewhat symmetrical. It's really easy to crochet, really hard to crochet symmetrically. That feels kind of symmetrical. Again, the lighting looks fine in person and totally weird on the phone. I think that looks symmetrical. We'll do that. So I'm going to tie off the blush and then we'll be back to crocheting. All right, now at this point we're going to do a little bit of stuff as you go. So I'm just going to shove a little stuffing in there as we are crocheting. Our next one is going to be a single crochet and then a decrease. I think we only have like 3 more rounds to go. So single, stitch marker, which I'm very good at forgetting, and then decrease, single, oh, got a little bit of fuzz from the blush, decrease, and do that all the way around. I forgot to hit record. We're going to do a row of just decreases. So I already started it because I thought I was recording. I was not. So it's just every stitch is a decrease and we are continuing to stuff as we go. So it should be pretty stuffed at this point. I do a little bit more stuffing in this, but if it's a little bit less stuffed, it kind of sits a little nicely as well. It kind of depends if you want it to sit freely or not. I prefer it a little bit more stuffed, and I'm not super worried about it sitting freely because it's probably going to be like laying on a bed or leaned on a wall anyway. All right, so now I clipped a pretty long tail because we're going to use it to close the hole and to sew on the star. If you're sewing on the star, if you're not interested in sewing on the Stardrop and you want them as separate pieces, you don't need a very long tail. I just like to combine them. I think it's like cutie patootie. 1, 2, 3, get a pull. 1, 2, 3, get a pull. 1, 2, get a pull. See where we're at. Maybe more. All right, so then I'm also going to work this yarn up to the top because we are going to use it to connect the star at some point. Here's our Junimo with no legs or anything. So I like them a little more round. If you like them a little bit more oblong, because I know in the actual game they are a little more oblong, just add more singles to the middle part. If you want it to be more of like an ovally shape, you're going to want to do 7 instead of 5. I just personally like 5. Cute. All right, so the next part is going to be to sew on the star. So I kind of look at the top, try to find the middle, stick it on. If you have like pencils or anything like, actually this is probably too thick, huh? I usually use like little plastic darning needles, but I don't know if I have them. All right, so I'm gonna try to get it in the middle. Usually it helps if you have like an extra darning needle or something to stick it in the side opposite that you're working, just to kind of try to keep it straight-ish, like somewhat in the same spot that you're going for. Actually, I might want it a little more forward. You know, that's a little bit forward, but I think I like how it looks a little bit more on the front. So he is just a smidge forward. I know it looks like he has a 5 head, but I promise he does not have a 5 head. All right, so I'm just going to start sewing it on best I can. It's okay if it's a little, you know, askew. Not a big deal. Okay, try to get the string right under the starflip. There is no perfect way to do this. Just going to kind of keep shoving the yarn in until it feels stable. And try my best to keep it somewhat in the spot I want it in. So, best of luck with that. Okay, we're getting kind of tall, so I'm going to try to back the camera up. Goodness, I got to back it up extra. Look at how cute we are. Oh my gosh. Now, I totally accidentally did it a little bit off center, so do better than me. I literally don't know how that happened. Actually, it might be perfectly on center, and that might be my issue because maybe like I just needed to like turn it this way. You know what I mean? To like match the eyes. I feel like I wasn't like managing the eyes as well as I should have. That's my bad. It's been a little bit since I've done this. That's fine though. It's still super cute. This is just, you know, a little bit of a clumsy Junimo, okay? He's just a clumsy little fella. So last step, we just need some black yarn. We're gonna do arms and legs. So a little bit more sewing, but we are very close to done. All right, arms and legs are super duper easy. For the arms, we're gonna do 7 single crochets and then slip stitch back 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect, and finish it off. Now the original pattern I had found for this, and I mean I'm sure there's others, it was just the one that came up when I YouTube searched it, had the what's that called, pipe cleaner arms. So if you have black pipe cleaners, you can use that as well. They were just glued on, but I like something a little bit more sturdy. Is the legs. So you're going to do these ones for the legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so now we're going to sew them on for the legs. I do them a little bit underneath and a little bit outside of the eyes. So we are looking at 1, 2, 3, probably around row 4 on the butt of the Junimo. And we're just going to sew around in there. All right, there we go. Okay, pick up one more. These guys don't need to be too perfectly sewn in because they're not holding anything too structurally important. And then I just bring both strings to the midline and I will sew them together with the other leg when it's on. Okay. See how that looks? And it's not outside the eye anymore. I'm telling you guys, I am not on my game. The goal was like over here, and what I achieved was right here. Don't know what that's about. So if you can make it more to the side, do that. If you're clowning around like me, I guess put it to the midline of the eye. But I like it better like this. Okay, our feet are on, and then I just tied the strings together in the middle and then wove them in. So we are on our very last 2 pieces to sew on. So we have our arms. I just kind of do in line with the eyes just to help me be symmetrical. I did get this foot looks good. That's what I was going for. This one is just going to be a little funky, a little bit off. That's fine. So kind of in line with the eyeballs and then going up to the Stardrop. And what we'll do is we'll sew them on here and then weave the thread up the hands and sew the hands to the top part. So I'm going to just start by sewing one on the side. Okay, the hand is sewn on. I just did 3 stitches from the eye, 1, 2, 3, and then I'll do that on the other side too to keep it even. It's connected. So I'm going to take the needle and just go like in and out, like almost like a little running stitch, just up the arm. Since it's black, it will blend right in. Won't have to worry about it looking goofy or anything. Just up and down and up and down till we reach the top. And then we are going to bring it here and sew it right there. Just a couple of little stitches should hold it in just fine. Again, this is by no means a super heavy piece to hold on. All right, and then same thing, we're going to take it back down the hand, doing that little running stitch, in and out, and then we're just going to poke it out over here and then tie the little strings together and finish them off. So, best of luck, do that 2 times, and then you're going to have a finished Junimo, which is totally crazy. I bet you didn't have one of those 2 hours ago, so I'll see you back here once I get this tied off and I get the other hand on. All right, time for the big reveal. She needs a little bit of a lint roll, but she is looking so cute. My only regret, I feel like I should have done 2 stitches to make the blush a little bit bigger. So I guess that's one regret. And the second one is I should have done the 10 stitches on the arms. I feel like they should have been a little more popped out. But he is so cute. Be picking lint off of him forever, I'm sure. Hopefully yours looks somewhat similar. The more you do, I think the easier they get. And I feel like if you had chopsticks or what are those called? Those sewing sticks that people use, or even if you use knitting needles actually to like stick this in before you sew it, I bet you that would make it easier. So just an idea there. Oh, I'm so excited. So cute. Thanks for tagging along today. I hope you liked it. Hopefully it wasn't too tricky. I know the star part's kind of hard, but hopefully yours looks super cute. And let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'll see you next time.